middle school art students. Today in class we learned a little bit about Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. It is a traditional Mexican celebration. It's celebrated from October 31st through November 2nd every single year. Celebrations in Central and Mesoamerica for Day of the Dead used to last an entire month, and those celebrations predated the times when Columbus explored all the way over to our new world where we're living right now. In the Western world, where you are, America, Canada, that's the Western world. In the Western world, when you hear Day of the Dead or Dia de los Muertos, a lot of times your brain is automatically gonna flip to images of sugar skulls or calaveras. Sugar skulls. Sugar skulls are decorated skulls that represent family members and friends who have passed on to the other side. Today I'm going to do a demonstration for you on a technique called graphite transfer. We learned about one of the principles of design, balance. With balance, there are three types: symmetry, asymmetry, and radial balance. Things that are symmetrical, or things that have symmetry, are the same on both sides. Things that are asymmetrical are different from one side to the other. They're not equally weighted in terms of visual elements. Things that are radially balanced radiate out from a central point equally all the way around. We're going to work with symmetry with our Day of the Dead calaveras, or sugar skulls. I'm going to show you this wonderful graphite transfer technique. You're going to need paper and a good old pencil, and that's about it. I'm going to show you everything else you need. Your very first step is going to be to fold this paper in half. Remember, symmetry. That means it's the same on both sides. If we fold it in half, it will help us to get a mirror image. Now, make sure that your paper is set up like a book or a pamphlet, where it opens on the right side and your fold is on the left side. These lines are fairly simple, but we're going to go through them nice and slow. You're going to start with a curved line that's kind of like a hill or a roller coaster. It's going to go click, 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 click. Ah! Pretty easy. Your next step, we're going to think of an oval, but not, a normal straight oval. We're going to take an oval shape and tilt it on its side. Now, we're going to have a line that wraps around the edge of this oval, juts out a little bit, goes back in, down, and then straight across. There's only 3 more lines that we need. This first one, from underneath this curve, or this piece that juts out, we're going to go straight down. We're going to curve it in slightly and then go all the way across. Now, from this little piece here, we're going to have a line that goes down and then curves back up. Your very last line, you're going to think about the shape of a teardrop or a J that's been turned onto its side. It'll be very close to this wonderful oval, but a little bit down from it. It'll curve out and back in. Now, graphite transfer. It's exactly what it sounds like. Graphite is the wonderful, versatile material that your pencil lead is made out of. Remember, pencil lead is a mixture of graphite, the mineral, and clay. Clay makes it hard, graphite makes it dark. Graphite's made of sheets of carbon. Carbon, burnt or spent organic matter. It's pretty great stuff. Graphite transfer, we will be transferring the graphite from one side of our paper to the other. Our next step, we're going to unfold this guy, and we should have about half of a skull, or calaveras. we're going to take this guy and fold him to where the graphite is touching the clean side. We're going to fold it to where our drawing is on the inside. I'm going to need to adjust my camera just a little bit. That didn't make it any easier to see. Aha! Now I can sort of kind of see it. Once your paper is folded together, if you have good lighting, you will be able to see your nice dark pencil lines through the back side of your paper. Remember, we folded it together. There he is. And we can kind of see these lines through this side of the paper. Everywhere where you see a line, you're going to take your pencil and press down really, really hard and scribble scrabble, making sure that you really, really cover that line with nice dark pencil. Well, it doesn't have to be dark, but you do have to press down very hard in order for the graphite to transfer. As you press down really, really hard on this side, if we open it back up, you'll be able to see that the graphite has transferred from one side to the other. Remember, this project is going to be all about that wonderful type of balance, symmetry. So we want this guy to be the same on both sides, or symmetrical. I'm going to go through the rest of this graphite transfer to make sure all the rest of it has transferred well. Give me just a moment. Actually, I could use that Jeopardy song. If only I had more hands, I would pull it up on the computer. But that's okay, I'm almost done. Now, let's see what we have. Ba-da-da-da. His head's a little elongated, but that's okay. It's just a first attempt at a practice getting prepared for a project. Once you have your graphite transferred, you can see that it's not as light as this side. It's more like ghost lines. It looks sort of like lines that have been erased. We can go in and darken up these lines, remembering that it's all about symmetry. You're making it look the same on both sides. Causing a commotion because they are so awesome. Okay, now that we have our skull, we're going to need to decorate it. Traditionally, calaveras or sugar skulls were made of literal sugar. They would take sugar and compress it into a mold and make it very, very hard to make little skull shapes or forms. You know, 3D is form. Make the form of a skull. And then they would decorate it with things like icing, candies, confections, things that were edible, so that they would be sweet to eat. We're going to decorate our skull with at least 3 different decorative elements. And that's not a lot. We can get that done pretty quickly, but please remember, it needs to stay symmetrical. Doing a graphite transfer will help it stay perfectly symmetrical. Let me show you what I mean. Here's my first decorative element that I'm going to do. I'm going to add some circles underneath this eye. But whatever I do to one side, it needs to happen on the other to make it symmetrical. To make sure that these circles end up in the exact same place, I'm going to fold it back together. I can see where my ghost lines from these circles are. I'm going to bear it down and press really, really hard with my pencil so that the graphite transfers to the other side. Ta-da! And then I just darken it up. There's one decorative element. I'm going to add some more. Feel free to watch. If you get bored, well, that's okay. You don't have to do the same designs and decorative elements that I'm using. You can come up with your own because you're all capable of wonderful, creative things. What am I going to add next? I think I'll do something like that. least one more thing. If you have trouble with your graphite transferring, make sure that your original lines are nice and dark. The more graphite you put on these original lines, the more graphite there will be to transfer over to the other side. Alright, let me see if I can get the rest of this stuff transferred over. Darken up my lines. All right, that's a pretty good start.